A couple of weeks ago, my computer broke, which is why I am so excited to get started on this build because I've been using my laptop for the last couple of weeks. So, starting off with the motherboard, and no, I actually didn't open this myself. I got it from Amazon and it was open. Sure, I did do a slight repack of it because I was trying to see if anything was missing. But I'm pretty sure Amazon did me the pleasure of getting a returned motherboard. So hopefully there's nothing too wrong with this. There are just some motherboard manuals and a certificate of authenticity, except it's not a certificate. I would assume that it's magnetic, or maybe it's even a sticker. And in here you just have the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antennas. Get back this box. I don't trust myself to not do this, so I'll just cut open this. I realise I should not have held it like that, but oh well, it is done now. For the CPU we have the Ryzen 7 7700X, and you'll notice it's used, and yes it is. This was used in my old PC. Thankfully it was recoverable. I think I will have to clean off this thermal paste somehow, but oh well, we'll have to get to that when we get to that. Push this down, lift this up, place this in the right way, golden triangle, golden triangle. That feels about in. Put this down, push this down, which always does feel like it's going to break. Uninstall that, and we have our CPU. Now for the RAM. We have 32 gigabytes of Kingston Fury at 6,000 megatransfers a second. I very much disagree with this packaging choices. Now, just going to check, I believe it should be in here. For the RAM, it should be second. How big do they need these guides? Where is this RAM? Not sure if it's one in here. Actually, that looks like RAM. Great, this is completely useless and does not tell me which spaces to install the RAM in. So looks like we'll just do it in the normal ways. It looks like it goes this way. Should probably flick those open. Line it up and put it in. Those clips are both in, then here. Put that in. Both clips are in. Great. Now for the SSD. This is a 2 terabyte drive from Western Digital. Get the screwdriver. Now, if I am to be honest, I have absolutely no recollection of which one of these are the correct screw head, so can unscrew this heatsink. So there's a screw down there, but as far as I'm aware, the screwdriver doesn't seem to fit. If I take this out, then, it seems to go in, but then I have the issue of there being no screwdriver attached. sure, because there's definitely a screw in there. And you should probably not try yank something off if it has a screw on it. So, I'm not sure what we're meant to do here. Actually, no, I realise. I have one of these for a reason, which is somehow meant to work. Put this on, put that on. Long screwdriver. Ooh. Ah, yes, that's much better. Lift this off. Wow, that is one big heatsink. Move this. Okay. It's interesting how somebody decided to have a heatsink on this side and on this side. But hey, I suppose, sure, I'll go with it. But yeah, this was the WD Black SN850X. Put that in, and that on. Peel this off. That is one good peel. And then, like here, get my long screwdriver again. Oh, that's not good. That seems pretty in place. Now that is done, we also have 2 more drives from my old PC that were also recoverable, but I think we will install this once it's in the case. Because something I've actually noticed is there's one SSD mount here and one here, which neither of them have a heatsink. But now it's time for my most dreaded bit, the AIO. I got the Deepcool LP360 for this. I think that Deepcool is banned in the US, but I am not in the US, so it's all fine. I always dread the AIOs just because of how much of a pain it is to decide whether you want to install it while it's in the case or while it's not in the case. So I have changed my opinion now once I've actually built the PC and edited it. It is way too difficult to install an AIO either way you do it. This is probably just my incompetence with some screws, but I really do not like installing an AIO. So, bring that up. And looking round, it appears it goes in from the top. This is actually quite a nice box. Prior to this, I had a Cooler Master, but I did not love that box. Sure, it was good enough, but nothing spectacular. And then got a whole load of everything other than just the cooler, which is, wow, how do I get this out? Can put that there. Nothing else in the box by the looks of it. In here is presumably manuals and screws. Yeah, mounting brackets and whatever these are. And then, oh yes, the manual, the thing that I needed the most last time. Information and support series, which appears to just be the mounting. And then this is presumably warranty and general things. I notice how there aren't any fans in the box. So that is hopefully good, meaning that they come pre-installed, but yes, they do. I'm planning on getting rid of these deep cool fans just because I have some fractal ones coming soon, but they did not arrive and I wanted a PC very badly, so we're building without. I have some tissue. I hope that really just getting this off isn't too big of an issue. Well, that looks fairly clean, I think. Yeah, maybe a little grey, especially when in the light, but hopefully it's all fine. So I really should look at the manual because I cannot for the life of me remember how you put it on. So page 9. Yeah, maybe I should look at a video. I'm sure that would be useful, but guess what? I'm not going to. So looks like I'm just doing it like this. AMD, AM5, AM4. I think this would be what we need. So those look about the same shape, so I think we can just put these in. How do we do that? I have no idea, but I'm sure I can put together my brain cells and figure it out. That looks like it just screws on there. Put those on. Great. Now for the cooler. So now I really am contemplating whether or not I should install this now or if I should install it in the case. So first of all, I will search it up. Should I install an AIO in the case or when it is outside the case? If I don't find a clear answer from this, you should mounting bracket before or when the motherboard is outside the case. So I believe I have done the mounting hardware for it, and now it would just be the actual AIO cooler. So I believe that I will actually just wait. So I suppose that we will do this while it's in the case, which I suppose means that we'll have to put it in the case first. So let's do that right now. Okay, so I get that all you can see is a piece of cardboard, which, yes, that is actually all you can see, but it's not just anything, as you can see right there. I have the Fractal Design North, and you've gone back to some cardboard, so I hope you enjoy this. And now, just to slightly subject you to not just some cardboard, we will try unbox it from here, and you can actually see. So, I get that this is really not how you should unbox something. I just have some scissors and I'm going to use them in order to get my desired result, I suppose. So I am actually doing it from the bottom because that's what I see Linus Tech Tip does, and he does it from the bottom, puts it right way up, and then don't do that, and then you just lift the case for the case up, and then it will come out, and it's nice and easy. And I am really not doing this the way I should be. Great, it's open, and now that is the first glimpse of my favourite case I have ever seen on PC Part Picker. Alright, hello cardboard folks again. I have done that. So previously to this, I had the NZXT H6 Flow. This is going to be a very different build to that, seeing as that this is not dual chambered, that one is. That is pretty much it. But, I mean, hey, anything for this beautiful case. So, in respect to my phone's storage, I installed the AIO while I was not recording because it actually took 3 hours. So if you wanted an AIO installation guide, then I'm sorry, but this isn't the place to come. But now we just have the graphics card and power supply to put in. So we'll tidy up these cables, plug them in, and try do this. So if I am to be honest, I can barely remember what goes into where on a motherboard, but I'm hoping to be saved by a manual, and if I really need it, I will just have a look at a video. Okay, now I have terrible lighting in this room, so I would like to apologise for, well, this, and you can probably not see a great deal. Okay, so I have just finished getting all of these fans in, and this has been an absolute nightmare. I now remember why I was dreading doing another AIO build next. But hey, at least it's over now. Hopefully, I might have routed some cables incorrectly. But now for the last kind of hard bit of the build, the power supply. So this is the MSI A850GL. It's an 850 watt power supply, should be able to handle my RTX 5070 Ti fine. It is rated 80 plus gold and gold by Cybernetics, which is a slightly more modern way of ranking power supplies. I can share my MSI product experience. You have an actual bag of cables here, which, not sure whose idea it was to give an MSI cable carrying pouch, but sure, I will take it. And then you've got the power supply itself. While I'm doing this, I just want to ask you if you could subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. I'm trying something different with this video, so if you have enjoyed, let me know. So, I put that in. Now, I assume that because there is a grate on here, that I can have it like this. And then I just place it in. Now, I am definitely not sure why, but only 2 of these 4 power supply screws will actually go into place. I am not sure if this is something to do with the power supply of the case or if I've just missed something in the manual, but so far I only have this bit reinforced, not this bit, but this bit seems fairly in. But now for the actual cable installation. I realise this is kind of funny. MSI have this thing on their 12 volt high power connectors where there is tips of yellow at the end. So if you see any yellow, you know there's something wrong, because if it's not inserted all the way, it could just possibly melt. But if I remember correctly, I only really need the motherboard and CPU connectors. So the motherboard one is on this side. And just to make this slightly easier for myself, I have just removed it. And now we have the extremely flammable 12-volt high power cable. I am making sure that there is no yellow left remaining. And then that should be all the cables I need, I'm not sure. Although there is another CPU cable. I believe these are used for extra stability if you're overclocking. I will not be overclocking, but I will install it as my motherboard does actually have two CPU power connectors. And I have also just realised that this hard drive bit is in the way, so I'll need to remove that as well. And 12-volt high power connector not quite in because we still need to install the graphics card. So I've realised that the video quality on this is terrible for you. But up here we have our two CPU cables. Here we have our motherboard cable. Down here we have all the case connectors, have some fan and fan control, HD audio, which I'm pretty sure is for the headphone and microphone jacks on the top, which I will never use by the way, and then this, which will go into the graphics card once it's installed. Now, this is the box within the box. What was Asus thinking by putting Italian on the front? But hey, looks like they are still in the search of Incredible. Which makes me wonder, when will they actually find it? I have a thank you for purchasing an Asus graphics card, some warranty, this, and then a guide, presumably. It's kind of funny, even Asus is aware that you need to plug in the cable all the way. So we have some power connectors, whatever this is, and the card. And this is the card. Now, some of you might be wondering why on earth I got an Asus 5070 Ti. Well, the Asus was because I really like this Prime design. It's black and it's completely different to my last build, which was all white and had a gold graphics card, which was the MSI Inspire 3X, which was also a 5070 Ti. But you might ask why I got a 5070 Ti. I mean, I'm not the biggest Nvidia supporter myself. I wish they could learn a thing or two from AMD or Intel, but the video editor I use, DaVinci Resolve, does heavily favour Nvidia graphics cards, and the 5070 Ti because it's the cheapest one that they sell with 16GB of VRAM. As for peels, there are a lot of them. Now I'm going to be using this top PCIe slot up here. So if I line that up here, that will likely involve removing this slot and this slot. And now if I just slot it in, and that looks like a graphics card in a case. Except this is incredibly concerning. There is almost no gap between these fans and the graphics card. Not ideal, but I thought I was getting the North XL. Turns out I was getting the North, and I think it's a bit late to change it now. Now, I just had a look at the box again, and it came with this, and it appears to be a piece of Velcro. Whose idea was it that they wanted Asus in Search of Incredible on their shoes? So I'll just plug that in, see if it turns on, which hopefully it does, and then we'll just do any final things that we need to do. Alright, so I have slightly set this all up. I have this plugged in, hopefully. I have this plugged in and this plugged into this. Now for the bit that I am really concerned for. Okay, here we go. Well, GPU appears to be a little too snug with this. We will see if we can hopefully fix it. This is on. The RAM is not on. If we change this output, no signal. You see that red and orange light just on the motherboard? Yeah, on my motherboard that means that there's something wrong with either the RAM or the CPU. In my case, it was the CPU. You see, it was the orange light that indicated that the RAM wasn't responding, hence it not lighting up, and the red light showing that there's something wrong with the CPU. Now, my RAM was actually fine, but since in newer AM5 CPUs, the memory controller is integrated into the CPU, so if that doesn't respond, the memory won't respond either. Alright, so after doing some troubleshooting, I learned that the CPU was the issue. I took it out and replaced it for a new one, though after being a bit of an idiot, I didn't record it. But I have now installed a new one, and I will just need to plug this into the slightly unsecured power supply, which I really need to fix. Flick on. And hopefully this will work. Alright, I don't think I can say just how much I want this to work, otherwise something's gone really wrong. But, power button, the power supply should be on. And oh dear. But wait, the RAM is actually turning on now. So... okay, so update, so that's turned off. This is all working, and finally I have a result on the screen. I have a keyboard plugged in, I have a fully working computer, but I don't have a Windows installation. But what I do have is me wanting to increase this memory speed from 48,000 megahertz. Now, I think this should work. It's rated at 6,000 megahertz, but it might not, so let's see. No, I did not install Windows, but I do have a laptop which I'm going to create a bootable ISO on. So I'm going to do Windows 11 download. And instead of creating installation media, I'll just download the disk image. While I'm waiting for that to happen, I do have my, as I call, USB stick, so I can plug that in here and then download. This will take a while because it's 5.4 gigabytes. Alright, so it has just finished, so we should just be able to select, go into downloads, open. I have copied everything off this USB drive, so I can start, just disable everything, and here we go. So we have this, and it is somehow already set up in English United Kingdom. All good. I am using a keyboard for this because I actually have not got a wired mouse with me. But next, I do not have a product key yet, and I will gain that through my means. I sure will take Windows 11 Pro. I need to find the 2 terabytes of unallocated space, which is just here, so I think I should be able to create partition somehow, but I might need a mouse for that, so let me get one of those. Alright, I have my gaming mouse, so this should help a lot. it is installing. Alright, I have it installed and I have a mouse, so this should be a bit easier, hopefully. Yes. No. I hope that I have a working Ethernet in here. Except that doesn't seem to work, so oh well. I will not be letting Microsoft know my location. I will not be doing that. I will only be doing required, and I will not be doing whatever the hell that is. No, I do not want ads. No, I don't want advertising ID. This is my computer. I will use it how I like. Except my password has apparently expired, so I'm going to do a very new one. Very secure password. And now, out of the kindness of its own heart, it did that for me. Why are you doing this again? I'm not sure. And I'm in. That was surprisingly easy. So now I will turn off the computer, do a couple of things just to finish it off, and then we have a fully functioning computer. Alright, so I do have a couple more things that I need to do, starting with this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, or actually just gentlemen, introducing the AVAC PC. RTX 5070, Ryzen 7700X, in the Fractal Design North, and this looks beautiful.